Hear the voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come one, come all, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. In a circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of the Inner Circle Podcast. I'm your host, Abe Kamara, and tonight is a solo segment because my co-host Miss B is bereaved. Miss B lost her brother last week, so she's going through some personal stuff. We wish her family and our condolences. We wish they can go through these tough times. So again, it's a solo segment tonight because my co-host is bereaved and she couldn't be here with me tonight. So, Miss B, we are wishing you and your family during this difficult time. We pray for you and your family. We are keeping you here at the Inner Cycle Podcast, keeping you guys in our prayers. We hope everything will work out for you guys. So, keep the hope, keep the faith. Folks, tonight's our Monday's our regular entertainment segment. And tonight, the topic is why entertainments matter more than ever right now. There's a lot going on in the world. Mass shooting in Australia, a famous Hollywood actor getting murdered by his own son. ICE raids, mass deportation, immigration crackdowns all over. The mass shooting in Rhode Island at Brown University. It's just like there's so much going on right now. Okay, so it's like in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of these tragedies, right? I think sometimes we need to just take time off to decompress. And how do we do that, right? I think more than ever, entertainment's kind of a mad entertainment as a whole. I think matter more than ever right now, right? Because sometimes it just seems it's like we live in at a time where there just seems so much going on, right? There's information overload, there's chaos. We had a segment on here where like the world seems to be so angry right now, everyone angry at each other. Our political leaders are not talking to each other. There's political violence, there's violence all over. Social media is just vicious. I mean, so it's just a lot going on right now. So, again, our topic tonight is why entertainment matters more than ever right now. You can join the conversation by putting a comment in the chat. Calling our number 952-594-5154. How are you processing these times, right? How are you going about your entertainment, listening to music, your favorite music, watching movies. There are a lot of great Netflix movies, a lot of great movies in the theaters. And then also it's the festive season, right? It's Christmas season. Christmas is like a week and a half away, less than 2 weeks away. Christmas is pretty much 9 days away. So how are you processing these chaotic times? In terms of entertainment, are you going to a hookah bar? Are you going to hookah lounge? Going to the club on weekends, listening to music, entertaining friends, at home, whatever it is that you're doing to, go through these tough times, I guess, in our society around the world, right? There's so much tragedy, so much chaos, going on around the world. So how I think, entertainment matters more than ever, because we live in uncertain times and difficult times. So folks, again, there's an Inner Circle podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, X, wherever you get your podcast, where there's a growing movement. We try to come to you here with important information 5 days a week. When we can make it, it's busy time for everyone trying to get through these difficult times. But here at the Inner Circle Podcast, we're trying to keep do our part, bring relevant information to our folks, entertain our folks, provide great information. But before we get into that, man, as you all know, ICE has been really busy in Minnesota the last couple of days, weeks. Everywhere you turn, there's a video with ICE about ICE, in another neighborhood in Broken Park, in Minnetonka, in Chanhassen, South Minneapolis. There's just so much going on, so we want to keep in our prayers all those going through these difficult times, the Somali community, the Latino community. I mean, I saw a video this weekend. There's these two Latino folks, right, at a construction site where ICE went to do an arrest. I guess that situation was so sad, right? One of the construction worker was on top of the roof for like I think 3 or 4 hours. Imagine, right? This is Minnesota, 0 degree, -0 degree weather, and folks was trying to help him, throwing him blankets and things like that. He spent about 3 hours just trying to avoid ICE, avoid being arrested. And he was on top of that roof for like 3 hours in this frigid Minnesota weather. That was so sad. That just tells you it's times we live in, right? It's like you wonder. I've said it many times on this platform. God, what is the end goal of this kind of aggressive immigration enforcement, right? Where in the ICE is like have no regard for humanity, have no regard. It's like just trying to do whatever they can to arrest people. So the situation in Chanhassen, and also there was another situation in Broken Park, very much close to home, right? At a coffee shop, ICE came. They pretended that someone broke into their car, so the server came out, tried to help, and then he was arrested. So it's just like, I mean, these stories, man, all over. It's like, gosh, why why is this much of a aggressive immigration enforcement? As I said, that what is the end goal? Right? Whatever it is the administration is trying to do, it's just it's putting fear in our community. Folks are afraid. I mean, immigration lawyers, immigration officers are overwhelmed. Folks need help. Folks need information. I know that a lot of community organizations, having webinars, trying to inform the community. A lot of information out there, a lot of resources out there for those that are impacted. Even if you're not impacted, right? I just feel like, we all need to do our part to provide whatever information that we can provide to our community, especially our immigrant brothers and sisters, because I mean, it's like we are all in this together now, right? Whether you are a legal immigrant, you are a citizen, or whatever, it's like we are all in this together because man, real lives have been impacted. We have said it here on the Inner Cycle podcast many times that it seems like when the administration first started, they said they were going after hardcore criminals, but someone at a construction site, trying to just make a living, helping build new homes, being arrested and things like that. Or I mean, it's just so sad. So many stories around this country, especially right now in Minnesota. As I said, Minnesota has been impacted over the last couple of weeks. There's the ice everywhere at the African market, Asian stores, everywhere, gas stations. It's like you hear all these stories, right? All these sad stories. There was another story from South Minneapolis today where like a lady was arrested, dragged across the street, and then got put into an ICE vehicle. It's like so many terrible, horrible stories, of these immigration raids, of these immigration crackdowns. So sad, but I guess that these are the times we live in. If you are one of those, if you are going through the situation, we just pray that this too shall pass. As my man Peterson like to say, my co-host Peterson like to say, right? As we just hope, we hope 2025 is a year of hope. Right? We hope that all of this chaos, all of this, uncertainty around immigration, and things like that will come and pass. So We pray for those that have been impacted by this unfortunate situation. Immigrants are not bad people. Obviously, if they are criminals, in our midst, people that commit horrible crimes, no one obviously want them here. They should be deported. But going after innocent people, the lawnmower, the construction workers, the restaurant workers, going after them, it is just so sad. But again, right, we can only be in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters. If you are a citizen, support, as I said, a lot of community organization, a lot of folks doing outreach, a lot of activists out there doing their part, reporting ICE activity. The only thing, we can see here at the Inner Circle podcast, we should all avoid violence. We shouldn't resort to violence, whatever it is, whatever ICE is doing. You can record them, document them, but please don't try to impede their duty or trying to prevent them from carrying out their work. So that's all we want to say to that tonight. And then the other thing is, the mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island. Again, man, it's like these school shooting, whether from high school, middle schools, grade schools, it's like all these mass shooting every time, in this country. It's so sad. Okay, innocent students were murdered, at Brown University this weekend, this on Friday. So sad. Another sad situation. It's like these things keep happening. I don't know the solution. For me, I've said personally, and here on the Inner Circle podcast, we have said it many times. Gun violence is not the solution. It's like I just don't understand as an immigrant coming from a war-torn country. I don't understand why guns are so like readily available to anyone and everyone. Like considering the mental health implications folks are going through. Like this country is so stressful, right? And having guns so accessible to people, where someone can just go to a Walmart, to a Target, to a gun range, to a gun store and purchase a gun, and then go and take innocent life, especially students, innocent students. That is so sad. So we want to pray for the Brown University community. I want to pray for the students of Brown University, all those impacted, those that lost their lives, innocent souls that lost their lives, and all those that were injured. We want to pray for them and their family. We just want to pray for this country, man. As I said, going through some difficult times. And then also, there was a mass shooting, and then we live in a global community right now, global world. There was another mass shooting in Australia where like 15 people got killed. Again, another senseless violence, man. It's like I don't know what this war is coming to, right? People just get up and go commit senseless crimes. It's like going on a beach and killing 15 people and injuring so many, firing at them. It's like, man, it's so horrible. It's terrible. But again, these are the times we live in. So many crazy things be happening in this world, and we don't know how to process it. And then lastly, a famous Hollywood director got murdered by his own son. He and his wife were murdered by his other son, by their other son. Again, man, it's like, man, learn that the son, 30, I think 33 or 34-year old, has been going through some addiction problems, mental health issues, and unfortunately he did not get the help, and then end up ended up taking his parents life, which is so sad. But these are the times we live in, right? It's crazy times, man. It's like I don't know what this war is coming to, but we can just, be hopeful. We can just continue to believe that things will get better. But our prayers are with everyone, right? Those experiencing immigration crackdown, the ICE raids, the mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island, the mass shooting in Australia, and the senseless murder of the Hollywood director. He and his wife, our prayers are with him and his family. We pray that his soul and the souls of all those that have left us, perfect peace, man. It's like it's crazy times. But folks, that's why it is, right? Crazy. And so in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of everything that's going on, why entertainment matters right now, right? It's like we should not, just um sometimes like I the way I process all of this chaos personally, I love listening to music. Sometimes like just I try to avoid watching, consuming too much news, right? Because man, it's everywhere. Obviously, there's so much going on. It's like I've just gone through some of the horrible things that just happened in the last couple of days, right? And then all of these ice waves and things like that. So in the midst of that, sometimes we just need to get our mind off all of this chaos, right? It's like you can take some time off, even all those activists out there, man, can take some time off to decompress, listen to some, music to take your mind off all these terrible things going on. Whether you go to a movie, bench watch movie with your kids, on the weekends, maybe go to a hookah lounge, going to a club or just going, like a couple of friends, on Saturday, a group of friends, when we went to play pool, right? Just to kind of as I said, there's so much going on, right? So whatever you can do, right? Whatever entertainment, because I think entertainment, personally, and we here in Osaka Park, I feel like entertainment matters right now more than ever. So whatever you can do, right, is like just because instead of just sitting down consuming all of this negative news, what ICE is doing, the ICE raids, the immigration crackdowns, that it doesn't seem to be going away, right? It's a constant thing, right? Every day you hear it, right? It's like all of the immigration rates around this country, from Los Angeles, from Oregon, Portland, Chicago, New Orleans, Charlotte, everywhere, this immigration race has been happening, right? But so it seems like it's here, the aggressive immigration crackdown by this administration seems to be here to stay, right? While we are dealing with that, how can we, we as immigrants, especially the immigrant community, how can we take care of our mental health? And I think part of that is, just having some, relaxing times, having some entertainment, with your friends, with your loved ones, especially during this festive season. I know it's tough to do, right? But just to get your mind out of these chaos, out of these negative things that are going on, right? Because sitting down worrying about it 24/7, it's not going to go away. As I said, the administration campaign on this aggressive immigration enforcement, this aggressive immigration crackdown, and that's what they have been doing for the last almost a year now since they have been in power. So it seems to be here to stay. But how can we, as people, especially the immigrant community, how can we try to, make sense of all of these chaos, all of these nonsense that seems to be going on, especially when it comes to this immigration crackdown, aggressive immigration crackdown. I mean, there was a story, Representative Ihan Omar said even her son, right, a U.S. born citizen, was pulled over by ICE and made to prove his U.S. citizenship. So just crazy, crazy time for sure. So again, man, there's a lot going on. Global conflicts, mass shooting, political anger, uncertainty, everything is like nonstop, right? Nonstop news cycle, like affecting our mental health. And so, how can we try to get our mind off that? I think, is some entertainment, right? I don't think, I'm not saying you should throw a wild party, especially during this time, but whatever you do, as I say, a couple of friends and I, we went, we played some pool on Saturday. Whatever you can do, maybe having friends over, or maybe going to, some friend's house, going to a hookah lounge, going out to a nice restaurant and eat and relax. It's just like, because our community right now, the immigrant community, no matter where you're from, we are going through a lot. This aggressive immigration crackdowns is affecting everyone. All of the immigration policies, asylum seekers, uh, those who work permits are not being renewed. Green card holders, some of them are not able to apply for that citizenship. Citizenship ceremony are getting postponed. So there's just a lot, going on. A lot going on. So how can we, as a community, come together? Why it is that we are supporting all of those that have been affected? We are make sure we are in solidarity as an immigrant community. We are in solidarity with one another, supporting one another. making sure putting important information out there about the immigration process. What can you do? Your right as a citizen, your right as an individual when you encounter ICE. All of the things that you need to do. Right, while it is that we are supporting one another, we are making sure we are in solidarity with one another. It is also important, man, that we just again decompress. We try to get off our mind out of these things because it's just crazy, crazy, folks. So tonight we are discussing why entertainment matters more than ever right now. We live in chaotic times, uncertainty. There's immigration raids all over, smash shooting, school shooting, crazy, crazy stuff happening. Social media has so many videos of different ice raids, and stuff like that. It's just crazy. Our community seems to be under attack. As I said, ice is everywhere. Gas station, African markets. Folks are staying home. Trying to venture out there. The only thing folks have, like the Somali community have been telling their people, make sure you carry your papers, right? If you're a citizen, carry your passport card or your passport. If you're legal resident, make sure you have your green card, whatever documents that you have to carry with you. Unfortunately, we all of us are immigrants. I think even naturalized immigrant, naturalized citizen, U.S. citizen, those that were born here. If you have your passport, if you have your passport card, make sure you carry those with you, because it's like, as I said, right, Representative Ihan Omar said even her son, a young man that was born here, was pulled over on his way to the store, right, on his way to the store. So no one is safe, no one is immune from these things. So it's like the advice out there is make sure you carry your immigration papers. If you are pulled over or if you are arrested for whatever reason, you can prove that you are a U.S. citizen or you are a legal U.S. resident. Okay, so it's like just keep that in mind, and things like that. But I don't think by any means we should be. I know these are scary times, man. I mean, obviously these are scary times, especially for folks that don't have their status yet, that are not yet legal permanent resident, or they are not citizen. These are scary times for them. It is scary. There's so many people here that are being impacted. I mean, before this whole thing, since I came in this country, there has been like news, like, there have been like 11 million undocumented immigrants in this country. Some of them have been here for decades, 30 years, 40 years, since the Reagan administration. There's 11 million undocumented immigrants in this country, over the years. So now is that with the whole aggressive immigration enforcement, are you going to deport out of those 11 million people? So no one know the end goal. No one know what this whole thing is going to lead to, right? So, but again, the administration seems to they are not stopping. They will keep doing what they are doing, but it's up to us, as a community, to come together, to support one another, to advocate for one another, to be there for one another, to when we see something that is documented, obviously record it. Those that are out there, obviously, is like, the good thing is where we live in a social media world where in like we are all citizen journalists. If you see something that's not right, someone is being manhandled, handled in a wrong way, you can document that, and hopefully, again, as my man Peterson always like to say, right, 2025 is a year of hope. So we hope that, eventually all of this thing, man, will just come to pass, because no one know the end game. No one know what the administration is trying to do here, with this whole aggressive immigration crackdown. Minnesota right now seems to be under attack everywhere, every community, Broken Park, Broken Center, Chanhassen, Minnetonka, everywhere, man. And we are not alone, right? It's like, I think every city, around this country is going through the same thing. So in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of this attack, is like that's how we feel as an immigrant community right now. Like, basically, like, whether you're a legal permanent resident, whether you're a citizen, seems like we are all on an attack, right? Because folks with legal documents, folks that were born here, are getting pulled over because, like, maybe because color of their skin or their accent, like me, right? It's like if you're not comfortable with my accent, pull me over and say, hey man, let me see your documents and things like that. Those are the kind of unfortunate situation that are going on, which is crazy, man. I never thought. I mean, immigration enforcement has always been going on in this country. There's no doubt about it, right? Immigration enforcement has always been going on in this country. I mean, even the Obama years, right? There were so many folks that were deported. He had one of the highest deportation, right? The Obama administration has had one of the highest deportation, but it was not this, aggressive behavior, like aggressive enforcement, right? Arresting people, like attacking people on the street, chasing people, on the, on the streets, right? Going to construction site, arresting people and things like that. ICE agent coming in on my cars, arresting people. So it's just crazy, just crazy, 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 crazy. So, but these are the times we live in. Again, I don't think it's going to stop for the next 3.5 years because we're already gone 1 year into the administration. So for the next 3 years, this how probably it's going to be for all immigrants in this country, right? We are going to be experiencing this, So how can we try to cope? How can we try to adjust to life as it is right now? Try to get our mind off of out of the crazy things, right? Out of this crazy, 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 this crazy aggression, towards the immigrant community. They might say it might be somebody today, it might be folks from Afghanistan, it might be folks from Venezuela, it might be folks from Mexico. It's like I think as an immigrant community, it is impacting all of us, right? It is impacting all of us. And you never thought America will come to this, but it is what it is, man. I think again, we hope that hopefully this too will come to pass, right? So in the midst of that, how can we live our normal lives? How can we try to live normal lives? How can we try to get our mind off, everything that is going on, right? Through entertainment, music, movies, going out with friends, going out to concert, especially now this it is festive season, right? Holiday season. Lots of plays, lots of um, um, concert be going on. If you love sport, going to live sport games. Basketball. The Scottish basketball. There's the NFL, national football, American football. There's the NBA, basketball, something, man, just to get your mind off of whatever that is going on, right? In terms of entertainment, right? S- Your music, if you love music, Afro beats, the latest releases and things like that, just to get your mind off of what is going on. Because I think entertainment right now, entertainment helps with our mental health as well, right? Wherein, like, you can listen to a nice, cool music, right? Just to get your mind off of whatever it is that you're going on. Because, man, we're living uncertain times. No one knows what's going to happen to this economy. Okay, there's this immigration crackdown, there's high prices. We live in a very high inflationary environment. There just seems to be like too many things coming at us at once, right? Too many things coming at us all at once. And it can be depressing, it can be confusing, it can just I don't know, right? It's hard for so many people to deal with. It's hard, especially, to deal with so many coming at you at once. And that's what it is, where that's how I think immigrants all over this country are feeling right now. There's so much coming at us all at once. And how do we process that? How do we deal with that? It's hard. It's hard, folks. So, but that's what it is, right? It is a new America. That's where we live. These things, from time from generation to generation things happens. Now this administration have decided that aggressive immigration crackdowns. I think Miss B and I talked about it here last week, where in like ICE agents have data quotas, and there's also signing bonus for folks that sign up, to work with ICE or to work for ICE and things like that. So there's just so much our community is going through. Over the weekend, there was so many videos circulating on social media. Oh, ISIS here, ISIS at this location, ISIS in Broken Park, ISIS in Broken Center, ISIS in Chanhassen, ISIS in Minnetonka, ISIS in South Minneapolis. Everywhere, it's like there's ICE. So but it is what it is, right? That's the new environment we live in. And as I said again, right, we say it many, many times on this platform, the Inner Circle platform. I think more than ever, we need to be in solidarity with one another as immigrants. As an immigrant community, we need to support one another. Even if you're a citizen, I don't think you say, "Oh, it's not going to impact me. It's not going to affect me," because, man, at the end of the day, all of these aggressive crackdown is going to just all around, right? Maybe not maybe it's going to. I mean, Miss Biana had a segment here last week where even immigrant businesses have been impacted. Folks are not going to the African stores have been targeted. Folks are not going there to shopping, right? The Asian stores, folks are avoiding whole Latino community, vibrant, Latino community, right? Businesses, like the Somali Mall in South Minneapolis is a ghost town because no one wants to venture out there to be, to encounter ice and things like that. So it's just crazy, right? It's just crazy. And I think some of the estimate we are getting right now since ice came to Minnesota, up to 400 people have been arrested. Obviously, that number, that's just a rough estimate, but that number keeps going up. That number keep increasing day after day, I guess, right? Because you see all these videos, you hear all these stories about ice everywhere. How do we survive these times? How do we make sense of a situation that is hard to make sense of, right? I think more than ever, we need to lean on things that take our mind off whatever that is going on, right? Not using it, not so much like entertainment as a luxury, right? But sometimes as a necessity, man, just to get your mind off whatever that you're going through, whatever situation that you are encountering, because normally during this festive season, right, it's a high stress season. You're worrying about how to get your family or friends gifts. If you have kids, your kids have already made their Christmas list, right? You're wondering how are you going to fulfill, how are you going to make sure, right? You fulfill that your kids' Christmas wish list. So these are stressful times for so many families. Add on top of that, whatever it is, like all of these craziest things that we immigrants are going through right now, it create extra stress, right? Extra burnout and things like that, right? It's crazy, you know. So I think, in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of these anxiety, these the everyday burnout, these stressful times, entertainment, we should see it as a mental rest, mental reset, basically, right? So that's what I think. More than ever right now, entertainment actually matters, in terms of whether you go into, listening to a music, your favorite music, taking time with your family, your kids, your significant other, your friends, to watch movies, going to a bar, to hang out with friends, whatever it is that you can do, right, to have that mental reset, whatever entertainment that you can try to engage in to have that mental reset. I think it is important more than ever in our community because, man, we are going through so much, right? We are going through so much. But so many of us, people are feeling guilty, and things like that because you feel that whatever that's going on, you should be able to help. But we are all powerless to help, right? Again, you cannot impede the work of ICE. You can demonstrate peacefully, obviously. Peaceful demonstrations are allowed, but you cannot stop them from doing their work. The administration, as I said, they are hell bent on there's aggressive immigration enforcement. So no matter what we try to do, is going to happen. So most of us feeling guilty, feeling powerless. There's nothing really we can do about it. It is what it is. So all we can do, as I said, but the most thing we can do is be in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters, right? If you are a U.S. citizen, don't say this not going to impact me. You never know where and when you might encounter ICE. There are stories about U.S. citizens being detained, arrested, obviously they are free, right? I mean, they get released, but again, we're just going through that experience, right? You going about your normal business, your normal day, and then you encounter ICE, you get arrested, folks being detained for like 5 hours, 24 hours. There are stories out there, right? And like, so no one seems to be immune from the current situation, from the current immigration crackdown that's going on. one way or another, we are all impacted, folks. We are all impacted, and that's just the reality, right? The administration doesn't seems to be letting up, right? Again, the the stacks out there or the word out there is like, ICE has been given a mandate of 3,000 arrests, you know, a day. So imagine, right? And then I think they said is, they have that data code as well, and that incentive to do whatever it is that they are doing. So it's not going to stop, right? But how can we again go about our normal lives, lead our normal lives in these uncertain times? It is important that we find time for that mental reset, that mental rest, because everything seems to be so overwhelming. So many things coming to us all at once, right? You watch the news or you read in the news, right? Horrible things happening. School shooting again. The school shooting at Brown University on Friday. Terrible, terrible situation. I mean, the mass shooting in Australia is thousands and thousands of miles away. But imagine, man, innocent folks on a beach, getting shot at. 15 people lost their lives in that kind of a senseless situation. How do we make sense of all of these things? It's hard, right? It's hard. And then on top of that, we are in the festive season, right? The holiday season, where like folks making preparations for holiday festivities, you know, um, getting family together, your kids' Christmas wish list, your family or friends wish list. We're trying to juggle all of these things at once. And then on top of that, we live again, right? We live in an inflationary environment. Prices are so high, right? I read somewhere, I think either in the Wall Street Journal or maybe on CNBC, I saw that like, the holiday gift this year, price, the gift prices are so high this year, right? So if you are out there shopping for your loved ones, your friends, you know, things seem to be very, very pricey. It's because again, right, they are attributing that to the tariffs that the administration has in place. So there's just so much going on. So there's so much uncertainty. Folks are losing their jobs. Again, so it's crazy all over. It says since the pandemic this year, up to a million, over a million people have lost their job. So imagine that, right? In these times, right? People are getting pink slips, people are letting go from their jobs, so it's like it's just everywhere, man. It just seems to be stressful times. We live in a stressful environment. So we need to find time, for entertainment, whether laughing after a hard day, you know, um, finding time, joking with your kids, music on the drive home if you one of those that go to the office or maybe you're doing some errands, things like that. Watching, one of my favorite things to do is watching some old comedies, right? What are Friends, one of my favorite show all time, right? Sometimes like I just find some old Friends episode and just watch it, and things like that. So some of these old episode comedy episodes, watch it. I know Facebook or TikTok or social media full of funny videos. I say I'm not a huge consumer of social media, but again, right, you can that's your form of entertainment. Obviously, you should embrace that. But in these stressful times, man, just to kind of have that mental reset, after a long day, just having a moment of laughter, um, finding something, maybe like finding a comedy show to watch with your family. So maybe if you love sports, I love live sports. I love watching the NFL. I love watching the NBA. It's like these things just take your mind off of whatever crazy time we are going through right now. So I know it's hard for some people, but it's just I think it is good, to get your mind off, whatever stressful situation you're experiencing. Because like with the whole ICE thing, it is worrying so many people. With this immigration crackdown, it is worrying so many people. And as I said, as immigrant community, it is worrying all of us because there's so many aspects of this immigration thing where it's coming at us, right? You say like the administration talk about denaturalization, so many aspects of things coming at every one of us, right? In the midst of the crackdown, in the midst of the enforcement, there's all of these other layers of immigration the administration is trying to implement, and so dealing with all of that as an immigrant community is really, really hard. But in the midst of that, we also need to find time, man, just to say, life must go on. The one thing about immigrants, us immigrants, we are very resilient. Peterson said that here on one of our episodes. We are all a resilient group. We are resilient people. Most of us come from, terrible backgrounds, right? Tough backgrounds. We came here for a chance, for a better life, and that's what the whole narrative about immigrants being criminals, immigrants taking jobs, immigrants, making things difficult for Native Americans. So it's just crazy because, man, I think immigrants, all around, right, are net contributors to this country. And so the fact that we are being labeled as criminals, um, stealing the blood of this country. It's just crazy, 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 crazy stuff. But it is what it is, right? So in the midst of all of this negative energy, all of these negative vibes, man, we need to find time to just, go with the positive vibes. Focus on the positive vibes. Focus on uh, not that so much we need to focus on it, but things that can take our mind off of everything that's all of these crazy thing that's going on. All of these crazy thing. And so, folks, when I'm going through some stuff, music, for me, music, smooth my soul. As again, I also like to watch funny comedy, Friends. Like that never gets old. Right? Friends never gets old. I always watch Friends, laugh. All of these, old comedy. Sometimes go to it, and things like that. Going out with your friends on weekends, going to a restaurant with your friends and families, doing stuff with your kids, activities. The kids are about to go on winter break. Doing something with them, man, is like in these times, right? Doing something with them. Because even our kids now, right, know what is going on with ice. My daughter, on Friday, she asked me, "Oh, Dad, I hear that ice is in Broken Park. They went to a Dragon, they arrested someone." I said, "How did you know that?" But I said, "Oh, a friend called me and told me that." I said, "Oh, okay." you know I never say anything to her, right? But it's like, I mean, ice is everywhere, so even our kids know about ice. Our kids know about what is going on with ice. So these folks, you know stressful times, so much going on in the world, and the holiday season can even be more stressful. And that's why we think, and I think, entertainment, man, matters more than ever right now because so much going on. We need to decompress. We need a mental reset, because seems like life right now feels so overwhelming for so many folks, for so many immigrants. Life feels so overwhelming for so many Americans. Life as a whole feels so overwhelming because prices are so high. Things are so high. There's an affordability crisis basically going on, right? It's like a lot of folks cannot afford homes. A lot of folks cannot afford even the basic necessities. So many folks going through a lot, but in the midst of all of this overwhelming stuff, right? Man, we just need to find time for that mental reset. And one of the way to do that is through entertainment. However way you go about your entertainment, I would say music, movies, festival, Christmas pageant, concert, going to live sporting events, basketball, uh, going to your kids' game. Man, there's just so much, so much I think we can do to have that mental reset, to focus on, to try to get our mind off of all of these negativity going on around the world right now, all of these crazy stuff, going on. So again, it is right. We know so many folks, especially our immigrant community, man, it's like they are worried. No one know when they are going to encounter ICE. There are so many folks in our community that don't have the proper documentation. Some of them have work permits. The administration have decided not to renew work permits, and things like that. So folks might be losing status. So there's just so much crazy stuff going on, but how can we, in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of this uncertainty, in the midst of, us as a community being attacked, right? How can we try to, again, we need to continue to be engaged, right? Be engaged, calling our elected representatives, advocating. Just say, right, there's not. I've said it many times on this platform. I think that it's the time we live in, right? There's not a time for anyone to be on the sideline to just say, "Oh, I'm just," to just be the silent observer. We all need to, speak up. We all need to be advocates, for our community, because whether you are a citizen or not, whether you are immigrant, you are a citizen. I think we are all impacted, right? Because man, someone close to you might be arrested, and sometimes, it's like someone. I mean, folks are getting deported. People been here 50 years, 30 years, 20 years. They are getting deported, so this thing, it is impacting the entire immigrant community. So in the midst of that, obviously, we all need to be engaged. We all need to be in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters. We all need to be supportive of one another. If you have the bandwidth, if you have the time to go and demonstrate or go and whatever advocacy you can do, if you have time to volunteer your time with these community organizations, because even immigration lawyers are overwhelmed, right? It's like folks that want immigration lawyers, it's hard. They cannot even get them, right. So immigration officers, immigration lawyers, folks are overwhelmed. So I think as a community, we all need to come together to support one another, be there for one another in these uncertain times, supporting one another, calling our elected representative, being vocal, however way you can be, right? Again, the only thing I would say, whatever, if you decide to demonstrate, let it be peaceful demonstration. Do not attack any law enforcement people. They didn't do their job. It is their job. So many folks, it's like they are just doing their job. I know, the aggressive tactics, the way they are going about things, it is confusing. It is. I mean, it's like the basic humanity, right? It's just not there. But these are the time we live in, and we can just hope for the best, because these are tough times, folks. Tough times. Again, immigration crackdown, mass school shooting, everything else you can think about, and then you look at high prices, where folks even having hard time, just going about their daily lives, so it's tough. So again, man, folks, it's the Inner Circle podcast. Where in like today is Monday, our entertainment Monday. My co-host Miss B couldn't be here with me tonight. She's going through some personal tragedy. Her brother passed away last week, so we pray for she and her family. Our condolences from all of us here at the Inner Circle podcast to Miss B and her family. We pray for the soul of our departed brother. So man, so I'm here with you tonight solo. Been going at you now for almost an hour. It's a 1 hour show. So we'll soon be wrapping up, but we'll try to be here, man, 5 days a week. Tomorrow we're gonna have folks from the Broken Park Fire Service, telling us about fire safety. Because during the winter months, that's when fire risk increases in this country, because we are all indoor. We have our fireplaces on, Christmas lights, candles, or whatever. So these are times, so the folks from Brooklyn Center Fire Department will be here tomorrow on the Inner Circle podcast, telling us about, fire safety during these winter months or year round, right? Fire safety, how to protect yourself from fire and stuff like that. So they will be here tomorrow. But again, folks, tonight is our entertainment Monday. Why entertainment matters more than ever in these chaotic times, in times wherein ICE is raiding immigrant communities left and right. They are going like, it's like today they were inside of Minneapolis. They are all over this country, right? If you live currently, man, America is just, as immigrants, as I said, seems that we are under attack, but we can just hope. Again, borrowing from my man Peterson word, right? We can just hope that things will calm down one of these days. We don't know when. It seems like the administration will continue on this thing until their terms ends. In 2020 or whatever. But you know, it is what it is, folks. In these times, in these tough times, we gotta move with the rhythm of life. Lay on entertainment. To get our mind off stressful times. Music can be used as a therapy, man. To get use music. I say we love movies, music. Some folks in our community love their little African music or African movies. Just have some quiet time, relaxing time, get your mind off all of these chaos that's going on around us, all of these dumb ways, ISIS conducting around here. It's just crazy, 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 crazy. Give me anytime when I saw that video of that, that Latino folks in Chanhassen, the one that stayed, especially on top of the roof, man, for 3 hours in a bitter, bitter cold. Minnesota, man, is like this weekend was very, very cold. Sunday was one of the coldest, if of the season, coldest day of the season. So it's like he had that man on top of that roof, right? And ice was waiting for him to come down. He was there for like 3 hours. Imagine that, man. 3 hours he was, on top of that roof. So it's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So, but again, in the midst of that, while we are supporting one another, in these stressful times, in these tough times, in these uncertain times, we need to find time for mental reset. One of the way we do that, you know, uh, we got to lean on entertainment as a therapy, folks. Laying on entertainment as a therapy when you're going through tough times. I know it's hard to do for some folks, but we just need to, have that mental reset. If you have one music that you just love to dance to, that you love to listen to, if you have a favorite movie, I mean, it's like Christmas season, with a lot of great, great holiday movies out there. Take time, watch it with your family, watch it with your kids. Do something just to get your mind off this craziness around us, out of this chaos around us, right? As like you listen to the news, someone got killed here, mass shooting, again, man, it's like everything that's going on around us, right? How can we get our mind off of it? If you are traveling this holiday season, you know, go somewhere, relax, have fun. A lot of folks, especially at this time of the year, a lot of our immigrant brothers and sisters go back home to their respective countries and celebrate the holidays. There are folks going back to Nigeria, to Ghana, to Liberia, to Sierra Leone, to these different countries. The only thing, folks, and if you are traveling this holiday season, if you are traveling this season, make sure you have all of your ducks in a row. You got you are legit, right? You got your legal papers. I would advise, I think, on a citizen, if you're a green card holder, man, I would say maybe lay low for a minute. You know, U.S. citizen though, I think you shouldn't fear going out. You shouldn't fear traveling if you're one of those that travel annually to your home country. To your to your home country, go back and have fun. I don't think I don't think you encounter problem coming back in, but who knows, right? But just make sure you have all of your ducks in a row. You got everything. You got your legal papers. You got your passport, your passport card or whatever. They are advising all of us travel with these. We should travel with these documents, right? Who knew, right? Back we thought that only driver's license that you need, but now we got to travel with either our passport or our passport card. So make sure you have that handy, because no one is immune. A sitting congresswoman's son was arrested, and the young man was just on his way to a store, to the to a Target store, and he was pulled over, and questioned by ICE to, prove his citizenship, prove that he belongs in America, and things like that. So crazy, crazy, crazy time. So make sure if you are traveling internationally, you got all of your ducks in a row, man, in terms of your legal status, your citizens. I would say, man, I think only citizens should travel, right? I know if you're a green card holder, who knows, right? Maybe talk to your lawyer before making that trip, because you don't want to, after having fun, after having some good entertainment coming back in, and then you are stopped at, by border patrol and things like that, right? At a point of entry for no apparent reason. So make sure when you're traveling you have all of the document, folks. You don't want to encounter problem coming back in. I think only citizens should make that attempt this year, to travel, because who knows, right? There's so much going on. We have heard so many stories. The administration is intent on implementing that immigration policy. So we just got to learn to live with it. We just got to learn to, adjust to the current environment, go about our normal lives, you know, just try to be ourselves, stay out of trouble if you can, avoid unnecessary situations, you know just try to be a good citizen, as we immigrants always are. Most of us, the majority of us, came to this country, for the opportunity to have better lives for us and our family. You know, the narrative that immigrants are criminals, you know, to me, right, why I don't support open borders, it is also important, right? Someone coming through the border, I know the law is, I mean, the law classified them as that they are breaking the law, right? Or they are, they are illegal immigrants and all those stuff. But someone come here and been here for so long, right? As I said, since I came in this country, I've been hearing that figure about 11 to 13 million undocumented immigrants. Okay, these are folks that have been here for years, for generations, years upon years. Now, for most of them to be targeted, it's so, I don't know what to make of that. But again, we can only hope that this thing, man, shall come to pass. Maybe the administration eventually they will come to their senses. If not, maybe we just got to hope, we just got to keep the faith for the next, after these 3 turbulent years, things will, get back to normal where, we immigrants won't feel targeted, won't feel um, like, things will not be so overwhelming for us, man, because that's what it is. That's what it is right now. Things are, is like, as I said, as I've said many, many times, seems that we are under attack, as an immigrant community, no matter what part of the world you're from as an immigrant. Yeah, in America right now, it seems that we are all under attack because no one seems to be immune. They are putting anyone and everyone over. There are stories of Liberians, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Brazilians. The incident at the coffee shop in Broken Park. It was a Brazilian individual that was arrested. You, and things like that. So it's just crazy, man. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. Folks, we should not lose hope. We shouldn't give up in these terrible times. We should find time to, have that mental reset through entertainment, whether music, whether going to your favorite hookah lounge or hookah bar, whether going to a party, going to a nice restaurant, things like that. Do it, man. Don't let this current situation, as an immigrant community, we shouldn't let this current situation define us. We are all good people working for our families, trying to do the right thing. So we should try to just, go about our normal lives, live our normal lives, and go about things, right? It's hard to do because, it's it's fair to say, man, so many of our people are afraid. So many of our people are going through stressful situation because some of them have work permit that are not going to be renewed. I know that, again, as I said, there are a lot of community organizations that are doing webinars, that are, having our town halls, educating our community about all of the resources that are available to, we the immigrant community. So if you're one of those that are, that are going through a situation right now and you cannot get a lawyer, I think, reach out to these various community organizations. There's ACER, there's, I think, OLM is doing something. There are a lot of community organizations, or whatever part of this country you find yourself. There are a lot of community organizations, a lot of immigrants organizations that are active right now, helping providing the information that the immigrant community need in terms of, how can you, knowing your rights as an immigrant, as a citizen, or as a resident of the United States. So whatever you can, whatever resources you can get your hand on, man, educate yourself. We should all try to create awareness, obviously. If you're one of those that are impacted, I think we are all impacted. I think we should all, educate ourselves about what is going on. I think we should all be in the know, right? We shouldn't keep ourselves in the dark because no one knows, right? No one knows. You never know when you might encounter ice. So we should all try to educate ourselves. We should all try to, be in the know of what's going on. Okay. But especially those that are impacted, I think that community organization, that are organization out there doing some great work. So I encourage you, man, don't be despair, right? We should all hope again, man. Coming back to my man Peterson word there, right? This 2025 is a year of hope. As we wrap up 2025 here, it's a year of hope. We hope that this whole nonsense immigration crackdown will go away, right? Because again, man, the immigrant community is under attack, whether Somali, Latino, whatever, man. It's like folks stories every day, everywhere that folks are getting deported, folks are getting arrested. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Brazilians, Venezuelans, people from Haiti, from everywhere. So we just hope that this too, man, shall pass. So, folks, it's been a great 1 hour. Again, I hope you join me to pray for my co-host, Miss B, for her and her family. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sacco Podcast. We'll be back here tomorrow with the folks from the Broken Park Fire Service. I will be here tomorrow educating us, about fire safety. During these winter months, a lot of fire incident be going on. So we hope you can join us tomorrow, same time, 7:30, for a very, very special segment. So you all have a good night and see you guys tomorrow.
In a circle podcast where love is well known.